America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, the police in Arizona stood around and watched this man drown. And one of them even said, I'm not going to help you. So you can't even say, well, maybe they didn't hear him. Yeah, you had to hear him to say that. So they're on leave now for watching a man drown and stood around and did not offer any help or assistance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make one very important statement. When people have two different opinions about the police, never trust them. I mean, whenever things happen to Black men, women, and children, they are all down with the Blue Lives Matter thing. When something happens to them, then all of a sudden the police are cowards, they're lazy, they don't do their job. Anytime somebody got two different opinions about the cops, never, ever, ever, ever trust them. I have some audio that I want you to listen to.
Tempe police actions are under investigation after a man drowned in front of officers at Tempe Town Lake. Last Saturday, officers went to check on Sean Bickings and his partner after getting a report about a possible fight. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Rachel Cole.
I'm Jonathan McCall. As officers were checking his background, Bickings climbed a fence and jumped into the lake and started swimming away. Team 12's Michael Dowd spent the day watching the edited body camera video provided to us from Tempe Police and reading through the partial transcript of what happened. And Michael, the big question so many folks had, including us in the newsroom, why did officers not pull this man from the lake?
Yeah, Jonathan, simply put, it's still unclear. We haven't been able to talk to those officers involved, and the department hasn't answered our questions yet. But police records indicate that they stood on land, listening to his desperate pleas for help as he drowned. Shortly after 5 a.m., police arrived to check on what they describe as a physical disturbance call between Sean Bickings and his wife.
Did you guys get into a physical confrontation?
At that point, the officers really don't have a reason to be there, but it would be nice if someone from social services who has a mental health background could have dealt with that.
Andy Anderson is a former assistant Phoenix police chief who agreed to look at the records that Tempe police have made available. The body camera video shows after officers spoke with his wife, they went to Bickings.
She thinks you're from Japan.
Making small talk while checking for warrants.
A big ACDC fan.
After 4 minutes, Bickings goes over the railing.
What are you doing, my friend? Well, in reality, law enforcement did not have authority to detain him.
You're not allowed to swim in the lake.
The officers stand there as the man just swims away.
How far do you think he's going to be able to swim?
We hear an officer talking about getting a boat, and the video ends. Tempe police limited what they turned over in a public records request, claiming that the drowning itself is too sensitive, instead providing a partial transcript. That shows Bickings telling officers, I'm going to drown. They respond, swim to a pylon. When Bickings says he can't, an officer says, quote, okay, I'm not going in after you.
This is not a lake patrol team that has equipment to handle water rescue. These are street cops.
Bickings and his wife both plead for someone to do something. His wife telling an officer, quote, he's drowning right in front of you, and you won't help. Now, Tempe police would not clarify how much time these pages cover, but eventually, Bickings went underneath the water and never resurfaced.
I think it's heartbreaking. I think it's a tragic situation. It's awful.
It wouldn't be until nearly 6 hours later that Bickings' body was pulled from the lake. Now, Scottsdale Police and the Department of Public Safety are investigating the steps officers did and did not take, as the responding officers are on paid leave. Now, we have asked police to provide the video, audio, or even a timeline to better understand how long Sean was left there to struggle, or if any rescue water team was working during the morning. A spokesperson said they'd look into our questions on Monday. Michael Dowd, 12 News.
We'll be following that. Michael, thank you.
Okay, so you heard He drowned. He pleaded for help. The cop openly said he wasn't going to do nothing. Okay. You mean to tell me you couldn't even radio for help? Radio for something, somebody, a rescue team. There's always water rescue around. So you couldn't radio somebody or get somebody to go out there and help them, even if you didn't want to do it. They just stood there. They didn't even try to call for help. Nothing. Just stood there. But see, ladies and gentlemen, I am not surprised about this. You don't know what mental state this man might have been in. You know, it is so little of what actually happened and the reason why the cops went down there. They just said a domestic disturbance. And his wife said nothing was going on. They probably were arguing back and forth, but that was probably about it. But she said nothing was going on you know? So this is Sean Bickings, and he's gone. His life is done. So the city of Tempe released a body cam footage Friday of the events leading up to a homeless man drowning in Tempe Town Lake after trying to avoid police. On May 28th, officers were called to Elmore Pedestrian Bridge after a downtown Tempe Authority ambassador reported a disturbance between a 34-year-old and his companion. And uh, so officers arrived at 5 a.m. Officials said that officers spoke to Bickings and his companion, who cooperated fully and denied any physical argument had taken place. So they said nothing was going on. But, ladies and gentlemen, nothing has to go on in America in order for the police to be called on us. We got plenty of cases of proving how many times a black man may just be walking down the street and some Karen will come along and call the police. So we always get the police called for no reason. So it is a shame. I cannot imagine hearing somebody screaming over and over for help and you just stand there and watch until it goes silent and he drowns to death. But this is just another example of what police are like in America. We could have told you this a long time ago. We didn't need kids to get shot to know that cops are cowards. And, it's a shame. So, they said the city official said he swam about 30 to 40 yards before indicating distress. So you could hear him a little bit. The audio was not real fully clear, but he was saying, I'm drowning. And then Officer 2 said, come back over to the pylon. Bickings said, I can't. Officer 1 said, okay, I'm not jumping in after you. Okay, so you made it very clear you ain't about to lift a finger to help nobody. Then what good are you? Why are you a police officer then? But for a Karen phone call when nothing is going on, you're front and center. It's just amazing in America, isn't it? So they said there were actually 3 officers there that responded to the call and witnessed this man drown to death. So all 3 of them are now on paid leave and pending an investigation. And I do agree, if there were mental health issues, then they should have got somebody out there to deal with that. You know, people don't like dealing with police officers, especially in the black community, because your cop shows up, that means death. Your presence means death. So I don't blame anybody for reacting the way that they do based on everything we have seen all throughout our lives. Give us reason to feel that way. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. How police officers stood around and saw this homeless man drowning to death, and they just continued to stand and watch until he went under the water and never came back up. They literally watched him die. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.